The Cowboys fumbled their way through Week 9. Now they play the Falcons in Week 10. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. And RC, the Falcons are a surprise 4-4 team. Can they pull another upset of the Cowboys this Sunday?
You know what? I don't believe they can. I think Dallas wins this game, but it's going to be a tough game. The Atlanta Falcons have been playing well as of late. Matt Ryan has really had an underrated season, and I think that's because we don't really expect much from the Atlanta Falcons. But when you're a team like the Dallas Cowboys that have Super Bowl aspirations and you lay the egg that they laid against the Denver Broncos, even without Randy Gregory, they understand the gravity of this game. And I think Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, those skilled players on offense, they all show up and they have a great game against the Atlanta Falcons. Dallas gets back in the win column.
The Cowboys seem to be talking about a team that has experienced a wake-up call, I should say, in Week 9. Perhaps they put that to bed in Week 10. No Derrick Henry, no problem for the Titans in Week 9. They now play the Saints in Week 10. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. And RC, the Saints are now playing the role of the underdog. Can they go to Tennessee and beat the Titans?
You know, the Tennessee Titans are playing such a high level of football right now. I'm going to pick them. And this is exactly who we expected the Tennessee Titans to be after they got blown out by the Arizona Cardinals and after they lost to the New York Jets. We all saw them atop of the AFC without Derrick Henry. No, that's a lie. None of us saw them there, but the defense has really picked up. Kevin Byard is the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Justin Simmons is ruining backfields and quarterbacks games each and every week. And Ryan Tannehill is doing enough on the outside with A.J. Brown right now that this team can continue to win. I expect them to beat the Saints, especially without Jameis Winston, Trevor Siemian trying to get his footing and not landing OBJ. Tennessee Titans take this one.
Yeah, big task for the New Orleans Saints, who offensively look limited in Week 9. Won't get any easier against that defense that RC mentioned in Tennessee this Sunday. The Jaguars shocked the world in Week 9. They look to do so again in Week 10. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. All right, RC, it was a bigger spread last week. Can the Jaguars once again pull the upset and beat the Colts in an AFC South matchup?
Now, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts, and I know people are surprised that I'm not saying that the Jacksonville Jaguars are the team to beat in the AFC after beating the Buffalo Bills last week, but I don't expect Josh Allen to be better than the other team's quarterback this week. The Indianapolis Colts are a team that can run the football. They play well defensively. They're able to put pressure on the quarterback, and obviously you know what they do against the run. I expect the Colts to come out ready to play, especially after watching the Jaguars improve last week against the Buffalo Bills. The Indianapolis Colts are focused. They understand they need this win, and they come out and they get it.
And the Colts have a few extra days to prepare for this one. This is a team that seems to be trending in the right direction. The Bill Belichick Bowl is the first team he ever coached as a head coach. The Browns travels to New England to play the Patriots, the team he has coached for over 2 decades now. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. 2 teams seem to be rising in the AFC. Who improves to 6-4 on Sunday?
You know what? I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. And I know everybody's going to think about how well Baker Mayfield played last week, and I get it. But without Nick Chubb, and now the New England Patriots being able to make this team one-dimensional, that's the Cleveland Browns, I think that Bill Belichick can do enough defensively to make sure that they hold down Baker Mayfield in this offense. And I believe Mac Jones, that run game, that great offensive line, they'll find a way to make enough plays downfield that this run game can help Mac Jones get acclimated, get ready, and make some plays in critical football moments. This game is going to be close, but when you have a guy like Bill Belichick on the sideline, you always have an ace in the hole, and I believe they pull this one out.
Patriots have been really good on the road this year. They're looking to fortify their home field advantage. They're looking for their second win at Gillette Stadium this season. AFC East showdown, and after what happened last week, it is a showdown as the Bills and Jets square off in Week 10. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this one. RC, we all picked the Bills last week to beat the Jaguars. We were all wrong. Can they avoid a second straight letdown?
I believe that the Bills win this game, even though Mike White has let you know that he should have been the #1 overall pick of his draft. Josh Allen probably should have been the #1 overall pick in this draft, and he's proven that. And after last week being outplayed by another guy with his name for the other team, I don't expect Josh Allen to come in taking the New York Jets lightly. Sean McDermott was able to coach this team extremely hard coming into this week, because when you lose a game to a team like the Jaguars, you have to be ultimately focused the next week. I expect the Buffalo Bills to be that. The New York Jets are catching this team at the worst time of the year, and that's after an embarrassing loss. The Buffalo Bills get back on track and show people why they had them as one of the top teams in the AFC.
Yeah, you have to admire Mike White's confidence. You also have to admire the Bills' roster strength. We'll see if it shows up on Sunday. The Lions did not lose last week. They're trying to win this week. Of course, they were on their bye last week. They play the Steelers on Sunday. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this Week 10 matchup. RC, can your Steelers get the job done and continue their hot streak against the winless Lions?
Yeah, the Steelers get the job done. Listen, they're not going to be the team to give up enough points to lose to the Detroit Lions. And I'm not saying that that's about the Lions. I'm talking about this Steeler defense with the great T.J. Watt up front, Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end playing a high-level ball, and Cam Hayward, a guy that might be a future Hall of Famer, still at the top of his game. I think this defense dominates the Detroit Lions offense, and I feel like offensively, with Najee Harris coming along, with this young offensive line gelling, and with some of those skilled players outside, they'll produce enough points to where this game isn't even close in the end. The Steelers win running away.
All of a sudden, the Steelers could find themselves right near the top of the AFC standings with yet another win on Sunday. Tom Brady is good. The Washington football defense, not so good. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup in Week 10 between the Washington football team and also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. RC, do they have any answers in Washington for Tom Brady?
You know what? I don't believe they do. I mean, think back to last year in the wild card game when this team in Washington was playing great up front. Defensively, they were getting after the quarterback. And some of the adjustments that offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich was able to make for Tampa Bay to keep Tom Brady clean. I believe you see more of that this game. I believe Tampa Bay's defense will have an opportunity to get after the Washington football team, and they show you and they start moving towards what they were last year in the playoffs. Remember, that came after a beatdown to the Saints last year. They lose again. I think we'll see a better Tampa Bay Buccaneers team this week against the Washington football team, and that results in a win.
All the talk this week in the NFC was about the Los Angeles Rams adding Odell Beckham Jr. The Bucs can remind everybody they are the defending champions with the statement win on Sunday. The Cardinals are 8-1, and they just keep on winning. The Panthers have a familiar face back in Cam Newton, who re-signed with the team this week, not expected to play on Sunday. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. RC, can the Panthers get their season back on track after a really tough 5-game stretch?
They won't get it back on track this week playing against the Arizona Cardinals. This is a team that proved to you they don't need their number one quarterback. They don't need their number one running back. They don't need their number one wideout, and they can go to San Fran and absolutely blow the 49ers out. This is a team that's played at a high level all season, and it seems like we keep moving the goal line back on them and to not accept them as a good football team. But they come out this week, they get another win, they'll stay atop the NFC, and at some point, Phil, we're going to have to just accept that the Arizona Cardinals are actually a good football team. And I think this week is another step toward that.
You are what your record says you are, and nobody has a better
record
than
brother.
The Arizona Cardinals, who stand at 8-1 right now. As far as late game drama goes, no team plays more games that are decided late in the game than the Vikings, except for the Chargers, and they play on Sunday in Week 10. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. RC, it's a battle of two teams that always need 60 minutes to finish their games. Who wins this one?
So what you're saying, Phil, is this one's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire, and I think it does, and I think the Los Angeles Chargers win. I believe in their quarterback more, and I know that's crazy saying that Kirk Cousins is such a veteran. Kirk Cousins is on his fourth contract, and obviously we're just starting with Justin Herbert, but he said it last week. We are not the same Los Angeles Chargers, and I believe him. They rebounded after 2 very tough weeks against the Ravens and the Patriots. They win in Philadelphia last week, and I believe they play Minnesota and keep that streak alive. Now, they have to stop the run with Dalvin Cook. That can be difficult, but I expect them offensively to move the football enough against a banged-up secondary for the Vikings that they find a way to win this game in the end.
Well, with a win and some help elsewhere, the Chargers could take sole possession of first place in the AFC West. The Broncos made a statement in Week 9, defeating the Cowboys, and now in Week 10, they host the Eagles. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this game. RC, who you got in this one?
I have the Broncos. Listen, the Broncos had a very impressive win last week. Teddy Bridgewater was pushing the ball down the football field. Javonte Williams with over 100 yards. And the defense that not only held the Dallas Cowboys down, but made some plays to get turnovers as well for this offense. And when you think about Denver moving forward against the Philadelphia Eagle teams that play a very, very basic coverage, a quarterback who doesn't necessarily push the ball down the field, I expect that Denver jumps on them early. They are Von Miller-less, but they do have playmakers on that defense, obviously playmakers offensively. The Denver Broncos get 2 dubs in a row.
And for those who care about fashion, the Broncos are going throwback uniforms in this game. The Eagles, for the first time ever, are wearing black pants with white jerseys on top, perhaps the most important factor in this matchup. 2 teams saw what life on the other side of their starting quarterback looked like, and they didn't like it very much. It's the Seahawks traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. RC, who you got in this one that we played at Lambeau Field?
You know what? I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. And now, that's saying that Aaron Rodgers actually plays, but he's been preparing at home. He's been in the Zoom meetings. He's starting to ramp up. And if he is able to pass the COVID test and gets an opportunity to play, I love the way that this defense played without him last week and then without their top 3 pass catchers the week before. That bodes well for this team going down the stretch. And you know when Aaron Rodgers comes back, like Stephen A. says, he's a bad man with or without practice. I expect the Green Bay Packers to win as the Seattle Seahawks now adjust to Russell Wilson being back under center.
Yeah, and the Seahawks still have some life in the NFC playoff picture, but a loss on Sunday would set them even further back. Perhaps the biggest game in the history of Allegiant Stadium takes place Sunday night in Week 10 when the Raiders host the Chiefs. Field Yates and Ryan Clark here to pick this matchup. And RC, the Chiefs have kind of been struggling this season, but if they win on Sunday, people would have a different view of them. Will they get the job done against the Raiders?
Now, I think it's the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, you now add Deshaun Jackson to a team that had just lost Henry Ruggs due to the tragedy in Las Vegas, and now you have that speed receiver again. You kind of get over the hangover of the emotion of that week that weighed so heavily on this team. And you also understand after coming off of a tough loss to the New York Giants, you need to rebound. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs' issues will persist. The Las Vegas Raiders don't stop the run very well. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs don't really try to do it. And I think that this team, when you look at them last year, when the Kansas City Chiefs were the Chiefs, played extremely well against them. And I think they will again this year, and they get a win going away, I believe, toward the end of the game over the Kansas City Chiefs.
A huge AFC West matchup takes center stage on Sunday night. The only star the Rams have not acquired is Ryan Clark. He's here with me to pick this Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup featuring the Rams traveling to play the San Francisco 49ers. RC, can the OBJ and Ram offense get the job done and keep the good times rolling?
Well, listen, the Rams could have got this job done without OBJ. As we saw the Arizona Cardinals get it done without Kyler, without D-Hop, and without Edmonds. But, you know, they do add OBJ to a team that I think understands they needed to rebound after an extremely ugly loss to the Tennessee Titans. And now you'll have guys like OBJ on the field. You'll have guys like Von Miller. And I think that excitement just simply around this team is going to help them or propel them to be something different, to understand that this year is now or never. And I think the Rams start that run toward the Super Bowl this week on Monday night against San Francisco 49ers.
If they do, they would improve to 8-2. Meanwhile, the 49ers would fall all the way down to 3-6.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.